Hello, dear listeners. Today is a very sad day, but it's also one full of hope and humor. We're bringing you an interview with the great Madeline Wickham, also known as the internationally best-selling author Sophie Kinsella. As you may have read, Sophie lost her battle with glioblastoma. Sophie was a dear friend and beloved by readers around the world. Sophie's Shopaholic series was a global phenomenon. 50 million readers and counting around the globe read about the worlds that Sophie created, and she brought us 30 novels in 30 years. Our last conversation was about her novel, What Does It Feel Like? This is a story about Eve, a woman who wakes up in a hospital and can't remember how she got there. The novel was published a year ago, and it became an instant bestseller in the United States and around the world. In this conversation, we got very real. Here are Maddie's, Sophie Kinsella's thoughts on life, death, creativity, and the journeys of our soul. We hope you enjoy it. We will always miss her, but we have these beautiful conversations and 30 glorious books. Ladies and gentlemen, Sophie Kinsella. So good. You look beautiful.
You too. I love your flower. That's amazing.
Hey, Maddie, you know what I do? I just pin this sucker on everything I wear.
Oh, that's so clever. I love it.
Guess what? I'm going to send it to you. Andrea, we're sending the flowers to Sophie. Gotta have it. I love seeing the photographs of you with all the writers that we love, all your girlfriends, Jenny.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And Lisa Jewell. And it makes me so happy.
It's an amazing friendship that we have. Well, you know what it's like, writers to writers. We understand each other, I think, in a way that
absolutely
that not everybody does. So it's just lovely to have that connection.
It really is. All right. Well, I read this and fell in love with it, and I want it to be the number one book in America, so I'm going to put it in as many hands as I can.
Oh, you're so kind.
Here's my first question. When fate takes a turn, can you tell us how to move with it?
That is a brilliant question. I love that. And I think I'm in a position to talk about fate taking turns because it took the most almighty turn. I think for me, so obviously my turn was that I was diagnosed with glioblastoma and had to undergo immediate surgery and treatment and lived through the shock of that discovery. And what is interesting is that if you'd said to me in advance, you're going to be told you have incurable cancer, how are you going to react? I would have predicted that I would just collapse, that I would just disintegrate onto the floor, into a puddle, and that's me done. And I amazed myself with just how I went with it. I had no choice. I had to get strong for surgery. I had to process the information. I had to be available for rehab, for therapy, for all the treatments that I underwent. You don't get a choice, and I think that we're so used in life to having control over what happens, that it's a real shock when you have to hand over to the medical professionals and say, well, I'm not in charge of my life right now. Someone else is in charge. And I think when I first got the news, at first it felt like this almighty mistake. And I felt like saying, no, wait, you don't understand. I have 5 children. I can't be getting this terrible disease because I'm needed. So sorry, I'm stepping away from this one. You can't do that. It's on you. You have to go with it. You have to. And what I found is that I had to cling on to my optimism. I had to find the lightest side, the most positive side, the most hopeful side that I possibly could. And that's how I got through it.
But you, in your work, Sophie, there is an optimism. There's always the hilarity, the humor, the sense of humor. When did you realize that your sense of humor was important when fate took a turn?
Oh, right there in the hospital. It never really left me. And one of the things that happened to me was that I lost the ability to walk. All the power in my legs went. That's how I was first diagnosed, actually, because I couldn't walk properly anymore. And I would fall over and I would forget. This was the other thing that happened to me, was I got terrible memory loss. I would wake up every day like Dory the fish and I wouldn't know what was going on. So I would forget that I couldn't walk and I would try to get out of bed. I would fall flat on my face. And one time I even brought down a piece of hospital machinery with me onto the floor. And do you know what? This will sound ridiculous. I was going through so much trauma, but I found it funny. I laughed. I was like, oh, get me. And I got bruises all over myself, but I thought it was funny. And that was my coping mechanism, to find the funny. And the nurses had to write up signs for me saying, cool, don't fall, because they were getting tired of me falling to the ground.
Coming in to collect you off the floor every day.
Exactly. Scoop me up.
Now, I want to tell everybody that this is a novel. What does it feel like is a novel? And you fictionalized your real life. But here's the interesting thing. Having read your beautiful novels, the characters are always very real. But in this novel, there's a particularity to the realness of it. Your husband, let's talk about him for a moment, in life and in the novel. You really married the right guy, didn't you?
I really did. I really did. And I hope that comes across in the novel.
It does.
Because Nick in the book is truly my husband, Henry. And we have been through unthinkable challenges in the last couple of years. And he has been right by my side. And it's been really hard for him too. So in the book, Nick has to keep telling Eve that she has incurable cancer because she keeps forgetting. That's the truth. That's what happened. And I think in some ways it's been harder for him than for me, because I have had no choice about what I undergo. I keep forgetting it anyway. And we have this shadow hanging over us both now. And he has just been strong throughout, cheerful, has dealt with the practicalities. He's become my pharmacist, because if it was left to me, I would forget the pills I have to take.
Right.
So I'm just insanely lucky. And this book is a book about love as much as anything else. And I really hope that comes across.
Well, oh my gosh. What got me is I found in this novel what it feels like, a new definition for love. Because memory, you never forget the people. That's what's interesting about Eve and about you. You don't forget the people, but you might forget that they were just here for tea. That's kind of how it works.
Yes, exactly.
It's not the love. The love is there. It's the mechanics of living, the day-to-day ordinary things. Oh, I had a tuna sandwich. That's the thing that goes.
Yes. And the people that you love, they stay. And you know them, you recognize them, and you love them. And that stays, even if you forget all the other stuff.
Now I think I understand why you had 5 beautiful children, because I want to explain to everybody that you had children as your career exploded. It happened simultaneously. So there was no time for you to say, I'm going to take a year off and put my feet up and think. No, you were in the machine. It was like a river, moving you along in your life. Tell us about the children, because the portraits of the children in this book are so delicious. You will laugh really hard in this book, and then you will cry, but you will laugh. It's like life.
Good. I'm good.
So, both. So tell us about the kids.
Well, they are fantastic. They are a wide age span, and I think that gives our family a particular dynamic. So you have grown-ups and you have children, and they're all the children. So they have a really particular relationship with each other. The older ones are almost like surrogate parents at times. And then the younger ones have these role models to look up to. But we all have a sense of humor. We all come together doing joint activities. And, when we're all together, we always play games. We often sing together. We're all musical. And we're a bit of the Von Trapp family Wickhams. Because we do love to gather around the piano and sing, especially at Christmas. It's really important to us.
It's the best part of being in a big family. Our family was that way too. I'm one of 7, and I loved it. It was really, really fun. And what I also think is interesting about coming together in song is that the voices sound similar, so it's a richer tone to the music.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
You
And I
you
have
know
lots
they're your
of,
children. You
yeah.
know they're your children. Yeah.
Well, I have lots of bass baritones, so it's a very booming, booming sound that we make.
There's a lot of Old Man River being sung at the Wickham House.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here's my next questions. When we get sick or wrestle with the beast of sickness, we don't cease to become who we are. Do you believe that you become more of who you are?
That's a really interesting question. Yes, I think you cling on to your qualities that have helped you through your life and you make them even more. So I think that what has always got me through life is optimism and hope and love and connecting with other human beings. And that certainly got me through the hardest times of this book. Of this journey, not the book, the real life.
The real
I
life.
think I became more hopeful. I clung on to all the strength I had. I wasn't going to give in. I wasn't going to feel sorry for myself. I wasn't going to always be crying, just some of the times. And I even cracked jokes. So I remember clearly when I went in for surgery, you know, it's quite an intimidating moment. You're on this trolley, you're being wheeled into this massive operating theatre. It was an 8-hour operation. It was no small thing. And there was the surgeon. He came up to sort of say hello before the operation. And I had decided that I was going to get through this by pretending that I was at the spa, because this is my other great quality, is I have an imagination. So I got through things by just using my imagination. And I actually said to him, "Oh, this is a very fancy spa you have." And he laughed. And that was me getting through big surgery. I was being funny, and I was connecting with him. I was trying to make him my friend. And I was just trying to cheer myself up with the best way I know, which is making an inappropriate joke. That's what I do. That's just who I am.
Well, there's a correlation between your expertise as a novelist of all these years. Number one, best-selling, international, millions of copies. Everybody's read you, which is a sign that everybody should. And there you are in that room with all the gizmos and the gadgets and the machines. Did you feel that you were meeting on the other side of that gurney experts? Did you feel, okay, talk about that.
Yes. It was a very technical operation. So I'd had an MRI scan before. Obviously, that's how I was diagnosed with this disease. But what I didn't realize at that point is that I would then have an MRI scan during the operation. They wheeled me in and scanned me so that they could exactly locate the tumor and get it out as accurately as they can. And I was just in awe of the technology. I just felt so grateful that we have the technology that allows these delicate and precise operations to happen. And it's, you know, it's just kind of magical, really. I have a son. One of my sons is a computer scientist. And I was like, you know, I'm in awe of all of you technological people who have made this magic happen, because this is my real life. This is my real brain, and it's really being helped by technology.
It's amazing. And I, you know, listen, we want you here forever. They were so precise in pinpointing with computers now. This is what's making this such an exciting field, I think, for the patient, is you have a sense of confidence. They're not wading into a dark forest. They see your brain. They see every element of your brain. So the mystery of it's being solved as they go here. It's really, do you feel that your recovery, now I'm going to tell you, because, you know, I'm in communication always with your folks that run your book life. And I said, geez, I want to talk to Maddie Sophie. I call you Maddie Sophie at my house. You've always had an incredible, healthy sense of privacy. What is it about you? Is that being British? Is that a British thing? What is that? Because in America, we'd have people coming in, oh, they're drawing my blood rate. I mean, we'd be there for the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I'm talking about.
yeah, I do. Absolutely. And I went the other way to begin with. I went very private. Part of the reason was the children. And at that time, some of our children were quite young. The youngest was 10. And although we told the older children straight away, we didn't. I mean, remember, I had lost my memory. So I was in no fit state to be telling anybody anything. I was just getting through and being reminded every day of my condition and hoping that I would get my memory back. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
very
yeah.
confused for a long time. And
Mhm,
then we wanted to tell the children when we were in a good place ourselves, when we would be strong enough to do this. They knew I was ill, but they didn't know the
mhm,
gravity of my illness. And so we waited until we'd spoken to a counselor, you know, try
mhm.
to understand the best way to go
Yep.
about this, gather
Mhm,
them all together, find a time when we could be all together for some days on end. So, like in the holidays, I didn't want to kind of tell them one day and then to scoop them back to school the next day. And so it
mhm.
took time. And during this time, I didn't want them finding out by accident. I didn't want it to become playground gossip or someone comes up to them and says, "I'm sorry your mother's so ill." And they go, "What do you mean?" Um, so I really felt that I wanted control. I couldn't control what was happening to me, but I could control the flow of information because I knew that once it was out big time. But I'll tell you what's interesting is that after a while, it almost became a strain keeping it to ourselves.
Mhm.
It almost felt like we were keeping it a secret, like almost like you're ashamed of it, which is like the opposite. It's just, it is what it is. It's happened to me. It's part of my life now. And I began to think that I would like to share this with people, actually. And you know what? When I did eventually do that, it was a relief. It was a relief to
Mhm.
just say to the world, guess what? This has been going on and I haven't said it up to now, but here we are. And I don't know. It was just amazing because so many people responded, and it blew me away. The number of responses and the wave of love that I
Mhm.
received,
Mhm. Mhm.
and also people going through the same similar stuff
Mhm.
themselves,
Mhm.
reaching out and sharing their stories. And so you felt like, well, I'm not alone, because it's a very lonely place to be, especially with something as rare as what I've got. It's not like,
Mhm.
there were kind of 10 of us in the ward.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so it's been an amazing journey, and I'm glad I waited until I was in a good enough place that I could not be overwhelmed by the
Yeah.
response, that I could be there to communicate with people, that I could see it through. I didn't want to kind of just, heave myself off my sick bed and tell the world and then collapse back down. That's not how I wanted to do it. And I think the way that it turned out was for the best.
So then you go through this, you your life changes in a certain way, particularly in the way that I'm sure your family is so as close and loving a family as it was. I bet it's even tighter knit now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
probably cashmere. You can't even see a seam in that wall. So, which is beautiful. And a lot of that's Henry and you leading the kids forth and them leading you, because that happens too. But I couldn't help when I finished What Does It Feel Like? Eve, who is your voice in the novel. And I remember Becky Bloomwood
Hmm.
and how her trajectory as a character was we had to she for me, Becky Bloomer was like a balloon that you kept reaching for the string to ground her, to get her
Yes.
right? She's like, come back here. And you wrote it with such there was such to me it was sequins and stardust and cuckoo crazy stuff and fashion and this drive in life to look good and feel good. And then that balloon always reaching
Yeah.
from the first page of this, it was like I opened the door on a house. Eve says, "Come in. Have I got something to share?" That's what it felt. It was a completely different essence. And yet the humor is there, the connectivity to the characters. You know, I think you're masterful, and I've told you this before.
Oh, bless you. You're
But
so kind.
this is masterful at its peak, because I could read it in a weekend. I actually read it in a day because I'm a reader. Like, I could, if I sit down for a few hours, I got to read it twice before I talked to you. So what I want to know is, before this happened to you, and now to this morning, this afternoon, whenever people are listening, how do you define time now? And has it changed for you?
Oh my goodness. It's really changed. I think that we all live in our time span, don't we? And
We do.
we predict how long we have on this earth, and we take it for granted. We just have a general sense of where we are in life. Are we starting out? Are we midlife? There's a lot of stuff being written at the moment about midlife, which is a really interesting time to be in. And I think midlife has extended, hasn't it, really? Because we
Yes.
get into midlife, and then midlife goes, and nobody wants to admit to being old. So your midlife extends older and older and older. And, you know, where I am now, I don't know, but I feel further ahead than I did. And I identify with older people a lot. I can understand how they feel coming to their end of their lives. Now, I don't know how long I've got, but that's the killer of uncertainty. And sometimes I feel like I'm still exactly where I was before. It's like being on a snakes and ladders board. Sometimes I feel optimistic, like I still have exactly as many minutes left on this earth as I had before, if not more, and there'll be a cure and everything will be fine. And sometimes I feel like I identify with that old person coming to the end of their days, looking back on what they've achieved and gathering their loved ones, because there are just so many different possible outcomes for me. And if you read the scary statistics, you feel like the old person at the end of their life. And if you go into slight denial, which is a place I'm very happy to live in, you've got as long as you ever did. So it's a completely changing situation.
Constantly changing. So time now for you is not fleeting. It's fixed, but it's not fixed in a way that you thought about it before as stages of life, but moment to moment.
I enjoy my time. I will say that. I am enjoying the time that I have, and I consciously enjoy it. And I would just say to anybody out there listening, if you are well and healthy, enjoy your life, because it's great. You know, enjoy waking up, enjoy going to bed, enjoy that food you're eating, enjoy your loved ones, because nobody knows what's about to happen. And
That's right.
let's hope you all have forever. But if, just in case you don't, you want to savor what you have.
And to pull Becky through Eve, buy the Jenny Packham dress. Just buy the ding dang dress and wear it.
Buy the dress.
Buy the dress. Enjoy it. Don't agonize.
Don't
stay in the moment.
Don't save up the treats. Have the treats. Have them.
Wow.
Enjoy them. And also, but enjoy the small things as well. I mean, we have a habit now, Henry and I, before we go to bed, is partly because I forget everything. We go over what we did in the day, and it has a twofold benefit. It reminds me what we did, but also it helps us kind of frame each event in a really positive way. And we went for this nice walk, or we saw one of our grown-up children for lunch, or we did some work together, or just we had a nice meal. And it sounds such a cliche, be mindful, but it really works. You just appreciate these smaller moments, and then you think, okay, that was a good day, another good day, and you just need to keep having good days.
I want to assure the readers and the listeners that the craft it is as sterling as it ever was. Your ability to write a conversation that's memorable yet hilarious, and also a mirror. You can hold up a mirror to your own life through your work. There's a great American novelist named Lee Smith who told me something once, and I've never forgotten it. She went through a trying, terrible time in her life, and she went to the doctor, and she said, "Look, I'm not right. I need pills. Give me something. I can't get through this." She was grieving. She was the loss of a person, and the doctor listened to her for about an hour, and then he writes a prescription and he hands it to her. And she reads it and she goes, "Are you out of your mind?" It said, "Write fiction 3 hours a day."
Wow.
Because he said, "You're the lucky one. You have a place to go. What you have done for us with What Does It Feel Like is to take us into an experience, but it took you into an experience, which is why every word is a gem. You knew that your imagination, housed in your beautiful brain and heart, right, was there, and it shall ever be."
It's true. I think that, well, you're very kind about what you say about the book. That means a lot to me. It's a very special book for me. And I think I knew that I wanted to tell the story even in hospital. And that was my imagination getting to work and helping me to cope with what I was going through. And in fact, one of the doctors did even say, "You might write about this one day." And at the time, I couldn't really see it because I felt so kind of confused, and I didn't
Did
feel
you
I
say?
didn't
Did you say to the doctor, "Have you read my books? They're funny"?
exactly.
What are you saying to me as you're taping stuff to my forehead? It's not. This isn't exactly a laugh fest in here, buddy. I mean, yeah.
It was my own fault for making the cracks about the spa.
It was. You set yourself up right
I
there.
set the tone. I set the tone.
You really
But
did. You really
I
did.
felt when I was going through and my cognition changed and so many weird things happened to me, I felt like I was exploring some distant land, some lunar landscape where everything was upside down and nothing was the same. And even then I kept thinking, this is really interesting. And I would make notes about how I felt and what it feels like to wake up and you can't walk, what it feels like to, be unable to turn your head without falling over. And I started making notes into my phone. I would just dictate stream of consciousness. And I didn't really know why. I just knew that this was the most interesting thing that had ever happened to me, and that other people might find it interesting, or perhaps I would look back on it one day, or my children would read it. I didn't know what I was doing, but I had to get it down, and I had to turn this horrible, frightful, scary time into a story. And I had to find a positive ending for it, because that's what I do, is I take challenges and I give them a happy ending. That's my writing life. I find a character, I give her a massive problem, and then she prevails. And so I had to find the version of this story in which I prevailed. And I think that's kind of partly what drove me to write the book, was I had to see how it turned out.
And because you're the author, you get to control that ending.
I get to control it.
Which is nothing but positive. Now, I have a question. When we think about our memory, as we age, we go, "Oh, please." One day I woke up at 2:00 in the morning and shouted, "Yvette Mimieux." I've been trying to think of that actress's name for 48 hours and I couldn't think of her name. So my husband, like, "Who's that?" I said, "It's an actress. Just relax, go back to sleep. It's nothing." What's the positive side of forgetting?
Well, do you know that there is one? I mean, well, there are several. It's funny. It provides us with entertainment. My husband will say, "We did this," and I'm like, "No, we didn't." And so we have these kind of disagreements where I'm convinced that I'm correct. And then I realize, oh no, I'm not. I've just completely forgotten it. But the good thing is that you forget the bad as well as the good. And if you are someone like me who overthinks life and who's worries about things, you forget your worries. So I'm someone who will come away from a conversation and think, oh no, did I say the wrong thing? Did I somehow offend that person? Yeah, I go over what I said and I analyze it and I think, oh no, perhaps I should have sounded more enthusiastic about X, Y, Z. Now, do you know what I think? I think, well, you know what? Even if I did, I'll forget. And it's very calming. If something goes wrong in life, I'll forget.
Fantastic. Exactly. Yeah. So what? It's a big so what. You know, whenever you talk about Henry and you in bed at night and you're encapsulating your day, that's really an old Roman Catholic examination of conscience move.
Right.
And
yes.
Where you're supposed to start at the beginning of your day and you go through it. Oh, I shouldn't have said that to so and so. Forgive me. I did that. Forgive me. Oh, I gave somebody a pair of socks. Oh, that's a good thing. You kind of have columns working. It's interesting because it's an ancient idea that has resonance for you right now in the moment.
Yeah, it really does.
It's a way of hooking up those neurons into your soul again and going, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a way of measuring out your life in a really positive way. And doing it with someone else is also it's like a bonding, sharing thing.
I never asked you this before because we were talking about other things in our other conversations. But do you believe in an afterlife?
I do.
So do I. Isn't it nice?
I really do. Yes, I firmly believe that, and I'm a bit hazy about the details, but I do, and I think about it quite a lot.
I think that it's our go-to always when we're confronted with anything. Seismic, as what you're going through, or the idea that as we grow and change, do the people we love grow and change? Will they be with us? One of the abiding, beautiful grace notes in What Does It Feel Like is Nick and that life partner. But he, and I believe this is probably true of Henry, he's as delighted to be on the journey regardless of the obstacles as he ever was. Do you think that's true?
Yes. Henry has just embraced this in a manner which I can only marvel at. And he attacks it in a different way from me. So it's not just we have to go through the motions together of the hospital visits and the taking the drugs and the going for scans. You know, he helps me with all of that. But he has a whole independent thing going on. So he gets up very early in the mornings, far earlier than I do. And by the time I'm awake, he has basically read the whole internet every morning. And he reads about glioblastoma. He reads about trials, about people who have survived a certain number of months or years. He reads about medical experiments. He reads everything. And then he comes to me with a cup of tea when I wake up. And he comes to me with stories. And he says, well, I just read about somebody and they've lasted this long and they're still going strong. And, you know, he has good stories for me. He has optimistic stories. And I'm always like, give me the good ones, you know, give me the good ones. And there's always something going on. The world is a big place. And even though this is rare, there's still a lot of people out there who've got it, and now we all communicate. Everybody's sharing what they're going through. And there are some positive stories. And what I hope is that I am someone else's positive story because I'm going strong. I've survived, you know, however long it is. That's, you know, counts as a success story in this game. And I hope that What Does It Feel Like will also be someone else's good story that cheer them up and help them get through, whether it was glioblastoma or any difficult life event, really.
It applies to all challenges in life, which every human being will experience, whether it's whatever the disease would be. The strides being made with glioblastoma it's kind of unbelievable, and it's at a record pace, as Henry would back up from his reading. It's they understand it, they're getting their heads around it. Of course, there's always surprises, but you have really forged a path of strength and purpose. I can't imagine that They got it. You're moving. You wrote a book. This just shows the power of the human spirit and your fortitude. A lot of people call it courage, but you make a good point that you had no choice.
I had no choice, but I had a choice in how I reacted. And
Yes.
I just decided, okay, I'm just going to live with this. I'm going to try to find the positive. And for me, the positive is escaping into the novel, turning it into part of my life in as seamless a way as I can. So I don't make a big deal about taking medication. It happens. We go for the scans, we try not to get too anxious. And with the children, it's not mentioned at all. We just get on with life. They know that I'm ill. We hug each other a lot, more than we used to. Every time we leave, every time that we say goodnight, there's a lot of hugging goes on. And I think that counts for a lot. We all know what the score is, but it's not defining day-to-day life. We just carry on.
And it doesn't define your work and your creativity either.
Well, I hope not. And I was determined that this book should be light and funny and me, not gloomy. The subject matter is tough, but it's not depressing, I hope, because it's just another character with another problem. And
That's right.
It's what I do. I write real life situations with real life problems that heroines have to get over, and this is no exception.
So are you reading? Do you read much, or do you listen to audio? What are you doing now in terms of
reading? Reading is a challenge, because if I
yeah.
try to get into a big meaty book, it just doesn't stick. So what I've been doing since I've been able to read is I've been going back to old favorites, and I've been choosing diary books and books that are little snippets. And what I want to start doing is reading more short stories. I started rereading the Dorothy Parker short stories.
Fantastic.
And I reread Bridget Jones's Diary. I reread Diary of a Nobody, Diary of a Provincial Lady. And the reason that I love these books so much is that you can just read a diary entry, and then the next night you read another diary entry. And it doesn't matter that you forgot the one before. You just enjoy it. You enjoy it for what it is. And a lot of them are funny. They make me smile. They make me laugh. They are a fantastic form of escapism. And I don't mind if I know them already. I don't mind that I've read Bridget Jones's Diary several times before. I can still enjoy it. And in fact, there's something wonderful about rereading books, I think.
Yes.
It's like meeting up with a friend that you know you're going to have a good time with. So that's what I'm doing.
Dorothy Parker, we can't say enough about her. Because she writes the pith. She goes for the pith every time. I love that you're immersing in your old favorites. That's fantastic. They're mine too. I share that with you. You just named some of my favorite books.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
well,
I love that.
They're waiting for me every night.
Now, every once in a while, you might want to do this. You might want to check in on Marcus Aurelius, because he wrote in little teeny paragraphs too. So if you get a yen for ancient Rome, go for that one.
Oh, okay. That's a good tip. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll little do that. Pithy short things.
Little short snippets is what I'm about.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Sophie Kinsella, you're a treasure, and your books have delighted, sustained, lifted us up, made us laugh, and you're still doing it, and you're going to do many more. Before I let you go,
here's to that. Thank you. I love that.
Here's to that, to booze, and here's to that, drinking and reading, and most importantly, what are you working on?
I'm just starting.
I know
I'm just starting a new one, and do you know, it's such a relief. It's too early days. I can't tell you about it. I hardly know myself. Yeah. Just being back to writing is just, I can't tell you. It's my happy place. It's where I go and make sense of life. And so I do have one. I'm tied up a bit with like doing these interviews and things for
right.
What does it feel like? So I'm not fully immersed in it, but I can't wait. Oh, I love writing. I really do.
Oh, well, it shows the burnout. We all love that. I mean, we love your books.
Well,
And
you're so nice.
this one, here's what I love about this one. Put it next to the cash register in the bookstore or at the library, prop it up on the desk because you could just put a big old stack of them. But everybody needs to buy this for their bestie, needs to read it for your sister, your friend, your aunt, your mom, your grandma, whoever you think needs to be uplifted and to see a problem through to its resplendent solving. You got to read What Does It Feel Like?
Oh, well, you're really kind. Thank you so much. I'm
It's
just
true.
so glad that you took it to your heart.
I took it right to my heart, and everybody I love is getting it for Christmas. So there you go. Now I'm outed myself, but can't surprise people. But I loved it that much, and
Wow.
talking to you is always a balm.
Oh, well, the same goes. We just have the best times when we're having our chats.
We really, really do. And you're getting this tacky rose I'm wearing. That's coming in the mail to you, and you're gonna get it. Go. What is this? What's happening here? It's like a Halloween costume.
I'm gonna live in it.
You're gonna live in that rose. All right, my dear. Lots of love to you. You know
Lots
we love
of
you,
love.
and just keep doing what you're doing because I have a feeling that your story is far, far, far many years from the end.
Oh, I
Many,
love
many
that.
years.
Thank you. That's my positive thought.
Many,
That's-
many, many, many years, millenniums.